Once upon a time, in a land of rolling hills and golden wheat fields, there lived a young man named Joseph. He was the favorite son of his father, Jacob, who gifted him a magnificent coat woven from threads of every color imaginable. This coat was so vibrant that it seemed to capture the very essence of sunlight. One day, Joseph had a dream that he would one day rule over his brothers. When he shared this dream, it only fueled their jealousy. They were green with envy, like the leaves of the olive trees that dotted the landscape. They couldn't bear the thought of their father's love being showered upon Joseph alone. "Here comes the dreamer," they said, scorning him. They then hatched a plan fueled by jealousy and resentment, a plan to get rid of Joseph for good. "Come on, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can tell our father, a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." But when Reuben heard of their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not kill him," he said. "Let's sell him to the caravan of camels, a group of Ishmaelite traders taking a load of gum, balm, and aromatic resin from Gilead to Egypt." Joseph's coat billowed in the breeze, its colors dancing like a rainbow caught in a whirlwind. As they reached outskirts of a bustling city, the brothers halted. Judah, the craftiest of them all, whispered, "Joseph, we've decided to sell you." Joseph blinked, his eyes wide as saucers. "Sell me? But why?" "Because of that coat," Levi spat, pointing at the magnificent garment. "Father loves you more because of it. We're tired of being second best." They sold Joseph to a passing caravan of traders. The merchants marveled at his coat, believing it to be woven by celestial hands. They paid a hefty price, and Joseph found himself bound for Egypt, leaving behind the rolling hills and the olive trees. When he learned Joseph was missing, he tore his clothes in grief. He wept when he saw Joseph's coat of many colors. "Yes," he said, "it is my son's robe. A wild animal must have eaten him. Joseph has clearly been torn to pieces." He mourned deeply for his son for a long time. His family all tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "I will go to my grave mourning for my son," he would say, and then he would weep. Meanwhile in Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. His coat, once a symbol of favor, now clung to his shoulders like a memory. But Joseph remained steadfast. He worked hard, his hands calloused from labor, and he dreamed of better days. Despite his hardships, Joseph remained faithful to God, and his integrity and wisdom soon earned him a position of great responsibility in Potiphar's household. However, Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of a crime, and he was thrown into prison. Even in prison, Joseph's talents did not go unnoticed. He interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, predicting their futures accurately. When Pharaoh himself had troubling dreams that none could interpret, the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Brought before Pharaoh, Joseph explained that the dreams foretold 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. Impressed, Pharaoh appointed Joseph as his second in command to manage the land's resources. As the famine spread, it reached Canaan, where Jacob and his sons were struggling. Hearing that there was grain in Egypt, Jacob sent his sons, except for Benjamin, to buy food. When they arrived, they did not recognize Joseph, now a powerful Egyptian official. Joseph, however, recognized them and decided to test their characters. He accused them of being spies and demanded they bring Benjamin to prove their honesty. The brothers returned to Canaan and reluctantly convinced Jacob to let Benjamin go with them. When they returned to Egypt, Joseph hosted a feast for them but secretly placed his silver cup in Benjamin's sack. When the cup was discovered, Joseph declared Benjamin must stay as his slave. Judah, one of the brothers, pleaded passionately for Benjamin's release, offering himself instead. This act of selflessness moved Joseph deeply. Unable to contain his emotions, Joseph revealed his identity to his brothers. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt," he said. The brothers were stunned and fearful, but Joseph reassured them. "Do not be distressed or angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." Joseph invited his entire family to live in Egypt, where they would be provided for during the remaining years of famine. Jacob and his sons, along with their families, moved to Egypt, where they were reunited with Joseph. Jacob's heart was filled with joy to see his beloved son alive and well. Before Jacob died, he blessed each of his sons, predicting their futures and the roles their descendants would play in the history of Israel.